Hello everyone, welcome back. Uh, Today I'm going to be going ahead and updating my render tutorial that I made 2 years ago, 3 years ago or so. Um, just going to quickly show you how I do my renders now. It's a little bit different, but kind of the same process. I'm using Blender 4.2.3, so there's some new stuff that if you watch my other videos and you have this version, it probably might get stuck or whatever, but I go quickly just run this, get a quick rundown, and yeah, let's get into it. First thing though, I actually decided I'm not going to use my own models for this. I went ahead and went on Sketchfab, and I found this awesome 3D model that I'm going to go ahead and use to render, just so I can kind of show you how to set up materials and whatever. So I went ahead and downloaded it already, and I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the original cube, the camera, and the light, because we don't need any of that. And I'm going to go ahead and import this model, which I got as an FBX file, and let's see, where did it download to? Ah, that's why. Maybe we should extract the file first before we try to put it in the game or put it in Blender. And then looks like we gotta extract these as well. That's kind of silly. Yeah, here we go. Extract these files, and now we have, wait for it. Oh, it's upside down. Boom, we have a Camaro, which for some reason has some tires, tire tread. Anyway, yeah, we have a model that we'll go ahead and set up. This is probably not the prettiest model, uh, as far as how it exported, so that's why we're using it, just in case you decide you want to grab something and it's missing textures. In case you want to grab something from like NR 2003 or something that's not already set up in Blender, I'll show you how to do all that. But yeah, okay, cool. Let's go ahead and get working on the render scene first, and then we'll go ahead and work on setting up this model, because I can tell you right now this is not ideal. But let's get into it. So first things first, let's add a new collection. So if you go over to your little list of, materials and objects, you can go ahead and right click on the scene collection and press new collection. We'll create a new collection, and we'll double click on that, rename it scene, and rename this one to car. And what we want to do is do Shift A to bring up this menu, and you're add a plane. Go ahead and press S to scale it up. I'd say probably about there is fine. And you can see the car isn't, it's clipping through the floor a little bit. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is, you could just lower this if you want, but this is like perfectly flat on the Z-axis, so we're gonna go ahead and leave it like that. We're gonna go ahead and right click on this, select objects. It's gonna select all of this, and we're just gonna grab the Z-axis, hold shift, and slowly move it up until it is no longer clipping. And just like that, it's now sitting on our plane. So next thing up, what we want to do is come over to this plane and create a new material. And for this, what we're going to be doing is using a transparent background, so when you render it, there's going to be no floor, no nothing. It's just going to be the car, shadow, and some lighting. So for this, best results, turn your plane down, dark gray, black, whatever, and then also turn your roughness up too, so you get some really nice shadows on the bottom of the bottom of the car. And then we're going to add we have to add our light source, which we'll have a few of those, but our main one, to make sure we have even lighting across the entire car, will be a cylinder. So, well, actually we can just add a circle, and we'll scale this up with pressing S, and we'll probably scale it about that big. And next thing, press tab, go in edit mode, and So you see all these vertices, and this is our basically the bottom of it. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna extrude it up so it goes above the car. So we have lighting above the car, on the side of the car, and down low where this is sitting. So if you press E and then you click off immediately, you can use these arrows to just drag it up. So like this, probably go about that big. But one problem is now we can't see the car. So if you put a camera over here, you're not going to be able to see this. That's okay. We'll get to that in a second. Create a new material for it. And over here where it says surface and principled BSDF, we're going to click on principled BSDF and press remove. And it's going to go black because we have no material. We're going to click on where it says none and go to emissions. And so now this circle, the cylinder, is now a light, and that's basically what our main light source is going to be. We're going to have some other supporting light sources, but this is pretty much what the main one is. We're going to go over to our object properties. So this is our little orange square, and then we're going to go down to visibility, and then we're going to turn off the camera, and so now it goes clear like this. And also, actually, before I forget, same thing with the plane, which we'll do that here in a second once we switch over to cycles. But we'll have to turn off visibility with camera and make sure it only appears as a shadow. But here's our main lighting source, and we'll go ahead and just see what this looks like now. So if you go over to render properties, you're in Eevee right now. If you just open up a brand new Blender scene. So you're going to switch that over to cycles, and it doesn't really matter if you switch based between your GPU and CPU. For me personally, I do the GPU because it renders faster. I have a 3060 and it flies through these renders. Switch it to the GPU, and one of our big things that's going to help us with the render time is if we switch our samples for our render. It starts at 4096. We're going to switch it to 180. You can do more or less, based on, it's just personal preference. But the more you go, the longer your renders will take because it's creating more samples of that render. I'm going to leave it on automatic denoise. I don't really have any preferences between the denoises. I do know there is some differences, but they're very, very minor. And then if you go down to film, click on transparent, go to performance. If you are going to go ahead and render bigger than 1920 by 1080 or 1920 by 1440, you are going to want to switch this tile size so it does render like it will render faster, and it also will render everything as one big image instead of building as tiles, and have less of a possibility of Blender just going blank after your render. So if you do like 2160 by 2160, your tile size will be the highest pixel count, so 2160. For us, I'm going to leave it like that because I'm not going to be rendering anything bigger than 1920 by 1440, so just leave it like that. If you come down to color management, we'll go to view transform. It says AGX next to it. If you click on that drop down, go to standard, and it'll give it like a little bit of a brighter look. Obviously right now the car material is completely screwed up, so it kind of looks a little funny, but it'll look better. It'll be brighter. The colors will be more vibrant, whatnot. So when you switch it back to AGX, you can kind of see how it changes a little bit. And then down to our look, right here where it says none. My personal preference, I do medium high contrast. You don't have to do it, but normally Blender is on medium contrast, but I just do medium high. Gives it a little bit deeper colors. I think it looks a little bit better. But as far as setting up a render or the render properties, that's as much as you need. So now that you're switching to cycles, you can go back to render or object properties, go to visibility on your plane, so that's your floor, and turn on shadow catcher. So basically what that does is now the plane will only catch the shadows, and it itself will not be rendered, so it'll be like it'll be transparent, kind of like how our cylinder is. Up next, we want to go to our world properties, which is this little globe. And we want to click on this color icon, the orange or the yellow circle, go to environment texture, and go ahead. So if there's a website you can go to called HDRI Haven, or it might be it's Polyhaven now. And in here you can download a bunch of different like world uh, like lighting settings, whatever. They're called HDRIs, but basically it captures real lighting from the outside world. People will take pictures and make it uh, like a lighting for your Blender scenes. So you can just go ahead and download one of these. It honestly, like whatever kind of styling render you want to do, you can look for like different lighting in it. You can use these previews to kind of see what it might look like. It might not always match this perfectly, but in my case, I'm kind of doing like a normal studio scene. So for me, cloudy lighting or cloudy setting or like a indoor setting, like let's see, something like this or maybe this too is probably close enough to what I would use, or even that will work too. This one has a little bit less, or a little bit less of shadows, so it might not pop up perfectly, but just download whichever one, fits you best, or fits your renders best. For me, I have an entire folder of HDRIs, so my personal favorite for me is the Skylit Garage, which you can get on Polyhaven, so I'll go ahead and use this one. And now if we flip to render with using these 4 circles up here, right now we're in viewport shading, but we can switch to viewport shading. Well, I guess they're the same thing. Huh. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, this is the render preview one, the furthest to the right. If you click on that, now you can kind of see what we're kind of looking at right now, which the car doesn't look great, I will say that. But once you see to the end, it'll look really nice. So we're not going to go ahead and add the rest of the scene just yet because we need to fix this car really badly. So let's go ahead and get working on that. First thing I'm noticing is that the underbody the textures are just completely missing. So we're going to click on that and open up our file. We're going to look for our folder that we got, and let's see, what are we looking for in here? What is this? Is this just an underbody? Yeah. So this is like a metal kind of base material is what it says. Trying to find what it might be. No, that's definitely not it. Honestly, we might just change or leave this as a go ahead and just color it black, and we'll turn the metallic down and turn our roughness up because it's kind of like the inner fenders, so they're not shiny. That looks good. That looks good enough. And then let's start with the body. So for this, let's see, we have an alpha channel. Do we really need the alpha channel? Yeah, we might need it. Okay. So we're going to turn our metallic down. Typically, I like to use as light of metallic as possible, and then I'll turn the roughness up a little bit too. And then we go over to our specular tab, and that's why it's so shiny, is because specular is so high. So I'll turn my specular down to like something like 0.1 or less. Typically, you don't really need it that high. which will also do the same thing for this underbody. Turn the specular down. We'll go ahead and hide these now. We'll just go ahead and make our way down until everything is hidden. Same thing for this. Turn our metallic down, roughness up, which this could be a little bit shinier. Specular down, and then moving on. That could be left pretty metallic. Okay. And then got that. The tires. Oh, that's annoying. Okay. Our tires, we are going to turn pretty metallic. I'll say about half, but then we're also going to turn the roughness up. Let's say about that much. And turn our specular down too. Although it looks like our wheels are also with it, which is quite annoying. So what we're going to do about that is we're going to go and just separate it. So separating it from a linked material that it's already linked to, we'll go over to this little section right here where it says 1088, which is the amount of things it's linked to, which is insane. But just click on it and now it's unlinked. So now what we can do is remove this texture, which that might be a problem. We might have to link we might have to link some more stuff than I thought. Huh. Okay. Well, for the sake of this rendering, I'm not going to do that. That's really annoying. We will just turn it slightly more metallic and leave it like that. So we won't hide the wheels because there's so many parts of it. Here's the tub with basically the entire chassis. Turn the metallic down on it, roughness up, specular, turn it down a little bit. Our carbon, I don't want the windshield. Still don't want the windshield. There we go. Go ahead and leave it that. And then if we do Alt H, unhides the rest of the car. We'll go ahead and pop it into the cycles real quick. And you can see that looks way better. Like a lot better. I just realized the windows were also like completely not there. So we turn the alpha up just a little bit so you can kind of see them now. Turn the roughness up. Some metallic. And now yeah, windows. So that looks pretty cool. If you look at the Sketchfab, yeah, I'd say the materials do match pretty well. Alright, now that's set up. Let's go ahead and finish the scene. So we need a top-down lighting, so I'll go ahead and do Shift A, go to Light, go to Area, and make a light probably about that big-ish. And then we'll also add a camera, so Shift A, camera, and if you press 0 on your number pad, it'll bring you to the cameras, what the camera is seeing, and then over here, if you press N, it'll bring up this menu, go down to View, Camera to View, and then you can just scroll out with your mouse and move it around with your mouse. So for this, I'll do 68 on the focal length, which is in your camera, your data properties, which will pop up when you click on the camera. And then if you go to your output properties, I'm going to switch mine to 1440 as the Y resolution, so we get a little bit nicer of a square. Not really, it's not really a square, but somewhat. And then we click on our area light. We'll pull in the cycles real quick, and we'll go ahead and adjust that to our data properties. So I'm going to turn it up like this, and our spread will basically how much of the car it hits. So I'm going to turn mine down just a little bit so it kind of just gets the roof. And that looks pretty good. And we'll pop it out of cycles. We'll turn this off real quick. I'm going to go ahead and try to fix this car, or fix these wheels, I should say, because they're something. Yeah, that's annoying as crap. Why would they design the wheels like this? Go ahead and hide both the faces. Let's see. This is not something you'll have to do on your models, hopefully. I hope so, at least. If you do, best of luck. It's kind of annoying. But let's just hope that if you're following this tutorial, you already have like one of my models or something that either already has material set up or already has a scene too. I mean, most models don't really come with scenes, but I try to make sure with mine that they do. So if you are lucky enough, then there you go. Go ahead and continue hiding all this junk, or tire tread for some reason. Hide this. Oh, good lord. This is so annoying. This is insanely annoying. What? Who does this? Like, why? You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and unhide everything, take all this back, and we're just gonna, I grabbed the, whoops, wrong thing. There we go. And we're gonna unhide all that, and we're just gonna delete all this. Delete our wheels. We'll leave one so we can size it, but we don't need that. We're gonna delete our wheels and we're gonna swap them out with something else. So I purchased these models myself. These are from Badima. These models, kind of expensive, but they're really, really good. So we'll go ahead and open these up. And thankfully, with how much you're paying, these models, all the materials are 100% set up already, and they look phenomenal. I'm missing a brake texture. Let's open up the Camry. Brake texture never loads in on that one. I don't feel like finding it. You can see I already have a render scene built for this. So we'll go ahead and grab its wheels because these ones are really, really nice. Go ahead and straighten this out. And pick up the wheels. And we'll create a new collection, paste them in here. And we'll size these guys up. See, almost perfect. And then we'll grab, yeah. Grab the wheels and move these guys forward. So on these wheels, I actually went ahead and redid some of the textures already on them, so only to make them brighter. They were pretty good stock, but I wanted them to be just a tiny bit brighter. Anyway, turn those wheels off now. Delete these guys. Unhide the rest of the car. Delete that. Our parents. And then believe these are backwards. So we'll go ahead and rotate them using I pressed R, Z, and then did 180. So now they're facing the right way. We'll go ahead and get these guys pushed out, unless you want some positive offset for your NASCAR Next Gen Cup car or whatever you're rendering. And boom. Then we'll also go ahead and lower the body of the car down just a little bit so they sit a little better. Now if you unhide our scene collection, press 0 on the number pad and put in cycles. Doesn't that look amazing? That looks awesome. And so now if we press F12, it will start rendering. So make sure everything is right on here. Yep. Alright. Go ahead and get this going. It'll say like it might take like a minute 25 or take a certain amount. Sometimes it might speed up, sometimes it'll slow down. So like in my case, I'll probably be rendering here for about 45 seconds or so. Just like that, we have a render, which I just rendered it, but I'm going to go ahead and re-render it because I see some issues where I want to fix. So stuff like this. So if you type in edit mode, and of course everything's separated. Why wouldn't it be, right? We'll do this on both sides. Ah, dang, I missed it. Grab these vents, create a new texture for them, lower the opacity, and then make them more metal-like. Those are supposed to be black on the actual car. And then our vent up here, of course, is 2 pieces, because why wouldn't it be? Go ahead and assign that as well, because that's also supposed to be black. And let's see, any other nitpicks? Not really. So now we'll go ahead and press the render button again. Now the render is done. This is the actual one I'm going to go ahead and go with now. You go over to the image button and press save as, and go over to desktop or wherever you want to save it. I save it to my desktop, and I'll just go ahead and name it Camaro Render, if I can spell. And you can close this out now, and make sure you press save and save this wherever you need to, whatever, doesn't matter. As long as you save it, so if Blender inevitably crashes or something happens, you won't lose it. So I'm going to go ahead and load this in Photoshop. You can use whatever you use, like I think GIMP's out there. There's Illustrator, which don't really know if you can use that for adjusting renders, but there's a lot of things out there. So I'm going to use Photoshop for my personal preference. Load this in, and I'm going to create a new layer, drop that down, and typically I like to go with some dark backgrounds, so dark gray for me, or well, I can go a little bit darker than that. And then we are going to go ahead and edit this photo. So just like any normal photo editing, adjusting your light, the shadows, your clarity, everything all like that. So I'm going to open up camera raw filter. I'm going to turn the contrast up just a little bit. But when I turn the contrast up, you kind of lose some of the shadows. So I'm going to turn the shadows up a little bit so you can see some of the bottom half of the car a little bit better. Not too much actually. So I'd probably say about plus 20 is good. You can raise your exposure too if you feel like the photo is a little too dark. So I'm actually going to do that just a tiny bit. And pull the whites down a little. Well, We might. There we go. Go to color. If you feel like the photo is desaturated or something, you can turn up your saturation, which I honestly don't really think I need to do anything like that, so I'm going to leave it like that. You have your effects, clarity, kind of brings in some sharpness on the photo. I'm not going to touch any of this. I'm just going to leave it as this, press OK, and it barely did anything, but it still looks a little bit nicer. And maybe you want some nice cool lighting in the background or something, like, I don't know, like a shadow behind the car. I'm going to duplicate this car, and I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit brighter of a color and paint it in. Go over to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and do that. Now we kind of have a nice like shadow behind the car, which I'm going to turn that down just a little bit. I don't want to be like too much like all up in your face kind of thing. And then for me, if at least for any designer, if you are going to render and you're going to post on social media, please watermark your stuff. So I'm going to grab my watermark, my logo, Turn 4 Graphics. I'm going to go ahead and grab it, paste it in here, and size it down, put it in the corner. But I'm not going to stop just there. I'm going to also put it in the windows. So like right here, and turn the opacity down on it, just enough so you can still see it. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. So if people do so try to steal your stuff, at least you got watermarks all over the car too. So, and it looks like I have forgotten, I accidentally moved my actual watermark like an idiot. So put that down there. And export your photo and you're done, basically. That's as simple as it gets. You can do whatever angle, you can turn the wheel, make it kind of fancy if you want, but this is as simple as a render can get if you're trying to make something nice. But hopefully this helped anyone, even if you are experienced and just want to create something simple like this, then I hope this helps. Later I'm going to be doing a how to build your own track scene as well, hopefully soon. So stay tuned for that. But other than that, that is Turn 4 Graphics signing out. Hope everyone enjoyed this, and thank you for watching.